Welcome to the shop, where today I'm installing RacerTechs 2-piece stock replacement cage on my Polaris RZR. Now this cage, as you can see, is a lot beefier than the factory cage. It's got a lot more supports. The tubing for this cage is a 083, where the factory tubing is like a, I believe it's a 065. And the really neat thing about this cage is you don't have to buy the whole cage at one time. This cage is designed with this bar in the same position as the factory. That way you can use their cage add-on or anybody else's cage add-on that mounts up here. It's still going to mount up even with this cage. Now this cage can be bought out of the front or the rear, and it's still going to bolt up the factory half. So I mean, if you ain't got the cash to sit down and purchase just a whole cage at one time, this is an option. That way you can get a little safer, and it don't break the bank. Now when you're disassembling your cage, you want to save your factory hardware, or whatever hardware you're using for the accessories you have, because you're going to need to reuse them on the new cage. Yeah. Now, as you can see right here, if you just want to replace the front section and the rear section, I mean, they'll bolt right together right here. But I'm going to go ahead and replace it all. On this rear cage section, there's also a 17mm nut right up in here on the bottom side of that cage. With all 6 bolts removed, we can lift the rear cage assembly up, take it off. Now with one bolt nut loosely in place on this side, I'm going to go to the other side. Now, as you can see, this bolt hole right here is not lining up. Now the cage is actually lining up with a factory bolt hole, but this cage tubing is moved slightly from the stock position. It's moved over this direction a little, and now my door is hitting on that tubing. So now I'm going to take a grinder and I'm going to cut just a little off this door right here, off this aluminum, and I'm going to have to do that on both sides. Then once I get that done, this should push back and allow me to put my bolt in there. Now we're just a little trimmed off of the door bracket there. The bolt fits right in place. Now with the new cage installed, you can kind of see the structural difference between the two. I went ahead and reinstalled the mirrors and the seats just to get a little better idea, get a little better feel for it.